Hey everyone, welcome to Smart English. I am your host, Demian.
And I'm your co-host, Carol. I am so happy to be here with you, our listener, for another deep dive. Easy to understand.
Exactly. Slow, clear English. We want you to feel like you are just sitting in a room with two good friends.
Right. Just two friends talking. And today we are doing a deep dive into a very common problem. It is something almost everyone feels at some point in their life.
Oh, absolutely. I have definitely felt this way many, many times.
So let me ask you, let me ask the listener, have you ever opened up your phone? Maybe you look at Instagram or LinkedIn and you see your friends from high school.
Oh, the social media scroll.
Right, you are scrolling, and suddenly it seems like everyone else has a perfect life. They have figured everything out.
They are buying beautiful houses or getting married, or they have these amazing, perfect jobs.
Yeah. One person is posting pictures from a beautiful vacation in Italy. Another person just got a huge promotion at work.
And you are just sitting there. Maybe it is a Tuesday afternoon. You are in your old clothes, drinking cold coffee.
Exactly. And you look around your messy apartment and you get this very bad feeling in your stomach.
It is a heavy feeling, like a rock in your chest.
You think to yourself, I missed the boat. I am late. I am late to my own life.
Wow. Late to your own life. That is such a strong way to say it. And it is a universal experience. People all over the world feel this.
They really do. But what is interesting, and this is what we found in the source material for today's deep dive, is that this feeling is not just about you.
No, it is not just a personal failure. It is actually a big psychological topic. Today, we are going to look closely at some research about starting over.
Right. We will explore why we feel behind in life, and more importantly, we will look at some very simple, practical ways to fix it.
We're also going to talk about daily routines and how practicing your English can actually help you feel better about your whole life.
It is all connected. So before we jump in, please remember to subscribe to Smart English. Like this video and stay with us until the very end.
Yes, please stay until the end. We have a great shadowing practice section where you can practice speaking out loud with us.
Okay, so let us start with the main problem. Why do we feel this terrible pressure? The sources we read talk about something called the social clock.
The social clock. That sounds a little bit scary, honestly.
It kind of does. It sounds like a machine from a science fiction movie.
Yeah, but it is a very real idea.
Mm.
The social clock is basically a timeline. It is an invisible schedule that society makes for us.
Right. Society tells us when we should do big things in our lives.
Exactly. It is like an alarm clock in your head. Ding! You are 22 years old. You need to graduate from a university.
Ding, you are 25. You need to have a serious professional career.
Ding! You are 30. Where is your husband or wife? Where is the house you own?
It is exhausting. And the problem is not the clock itself. The problem is how we feel when we are late.
Right. When you do not hit those goals at the exact right age, the research says we feel a very specific type of pain.
You do not just think, oh, I will do that later. You think, I am failing. I am failing at being a normal adult.
It makes life feel like a race, like you are running on a track against everyone else.
And if you stop to tie your shoes, everyone else is running past you. You start to panic.
Which brings us to another great idea from the sources. They call it chapter compare syndrome.
Chapter compare syndrome. Let us explain that in simple English.
So think about a book. A book has many chapters. Chapter 1 is the beginning, Chapter 10 is near the end.
Right. In Chapter 1, the story is messy. The characters are making mistakes. They do not know what they're doing.
Exactly. But in Chapter 10, everything looks great. The hero has won. The story makes sense.
So chapter compare syndrome is when you compare your messy Chapter 1 to someone else's perfect Chapter 10.
You see your friend's beautiful new house? That is their Chapter 10. It took them 10 years of hard work to get it.
But you do not see those 10 years of hard work. You do not see their stress or their late nights or their empty bank account from 5 years ago. You only see the final happy picture.
You are comparing your behind-the-scenes video to their final edited movie.
And on social media, that movie is very, very edited. People use filters. They only post the happy moments.
It is basically fake, or at least it is not the whole truth. But your brain thinks it is the truth. And that makes you feel paralyzed.
Paralyzed, meaning you cannot move. You feel so bad that you just stop trying.
Which leads us perfectly to the big metaphor for today's deep dive. I really love this part of the reading. The idea of stagnant water.
Yes, the stagnant water metaphor. This is very important. Let us break this down slowly for our listeners.
Okay, so the source material says that when we feel stuck in life, we are not broken. We are just stagnant.
Let us compare two things, a river and a small pond.
A river is always moving. The water flows. Because it moves, the water is clean, it has oxygen, fish can live in it, it is healthy.
The river has energy. Now think about a pond where the water is completely trapped. The water has stopped moving.
When water stops moving, we call it stagnant.
And what happens to stagnant water?
Well, it gets dirty. It gets dark and murky. Green algae grows on top of it.
It starts to smell bad. It attracts mosquitoes and bugs.
It becomes unhealthy. And the research argues that human psychology works in the exact same way.
That is so true. When we stop moving in our lives, when we stop learning new things or trying new hobbies or meeting people, we do not just stay the same.
Right? We do not just pause. We degrade.
Mhm.
We become stagnant.
That bad feeling, that anxiety and sadness, that is the smell of the stagnant water in our minds.
Wow. That is a great way to describe it. And, a lot of people think that having a stable life is the opposite of this. But stability and stagnation are different.
How do you mean?
Well, you can have a very safe, stable job. You can have a safe apartment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are not growing mentally, you can still feel stagnant. You can still feel like that dirty pond water.
That is so true. I actually have a story about this from my own life. It perfectly matches the source material.
Oh, please share it. I think real stories help so much.
So back in my late 20s, I was really struggling. I was looking around and all my friends were buying real estate. They were getting promoted to big manager jobs.
The social clock was ticking very loudly for them.
Exactly. And what was I doing? I was working random part-time jobs. I did not have a real career path.
Where were you living?
I was renting a tiny, terrible room. I literally slept on a mattress on the floor. No bed frame, just a mattress on the carpet.
Oh, no.
And I remember sitting on that floor mattress, eating very cheap instant noodles and looking at my phone, seeing a friend's wedding photos.
That must have hurt.
It was crushing. It was not just that I was poor, it was the feeling that the door to a good life was closed. I felt like the race was already over, and I lost.
You felt completely stagnant.
Completely. I felt like I would never catch up to them.
Thank you for sharing that. It takes courage to talk about the hard times, but I think our listeners can really relate to that feeling.
Yeah, I think many people have a floor mattress moment in their lives.
They do. But there's another kind of stagnation, and the sources gave a really good example of this too.
Right. It is not always about being broke and eating instant noodles.
No. Sometimes stagnation looks perfectly successful on the outside. I call it the gray year. I had one of these years myself.
The gray year. Tell me about that.
So this is when you check every single box on the social clock. You do exactly what society wants.
Okay.
I had the professional job. I had the nice apartment. I commuted to the office every day. I was at my desk by 9 in the morning. I left at 5 in the evening.
That sounds like a very solid adult routine.
On paper, it was great. But every single day was exactly the same. I woke up, drank the same coffee, took the same train, did the same work, came home, ate the same dinner, and scrolled on the same 3 apps on my phone.
And how did you feel inside?
Empty. Completely empty. The world looked gray. There was no color.
Because you were not moving forward. You were just spinning in a circle.
Exactly. I was moving my body. I was walking to work. But psychologically, I was a stagnant pond. I was not learning. I was not challenged. I was just existing.
So stagnation is not about failing. It is about a lack of flow.
Yes. If you are not putting new energy into your life slowly decays.
Okay, so we know what the problem feels like. Now we need to ask why. Why do we get stuck here? Why do we let ourselves become stagnant ponds?
The deep dive material gives us a few main reasons. The first reason is called misalignment.
Misalignment. Let us teach that word. Misalignment. It means two things do not fit together correctly.
Right. It is the friction, the rubbing, between who you actually are and who you think you should be.
The sources used a fantastic, simple metaphor for this. The metaphor of the shoes.
Oh, the high school shoes. I love this.
So imagine you were 30 years old, your feet are a size 10, but you were trying to force your feet into size 8 shoes that you wore when you were in high school.
That would be incredibly painful. You would get blisters. You would not be able to walk.
Exactly. But we do this with our lives all the time. We hold on to old dreams.
The old dream. This is a very dangerous thing.
It really is. The old dream is the goal you made for yourself when you were 18 or 20 years old.
When you knew nothing about the real world.
Exactly. At 18, you say, I am going to be a corporate lawyer. I am going to make lots of money.
So you spend 10 years of your life building that lawyer path. You go to school, you take the tests, you get the job.
But then you are 30 years old, you are working as a lawyer, and you realize, I hate this. I hate arguing with people all day.
You realize you actually love teaching, or you love taking photographs, or cooking.
But you have spent 10 years on the lawyer dream. You feel like you cannot quit. This is called the sunk cost fallacy.
You feel like you have invested too much time, so you force yourself to stay.
You keep trying to wear the old shoes.
And because you are wearing shoes that do not fit, you are misaligned. Your daily life does not match your true self.
And what happens when your shoes hurt too much?
You stop walking.
Boom! You stop walking. And you become stagnant.
So the big lesson from the research here is that it is okay to change your plan. In fact, you have to change your plan.
You are not a bad person for changing your mind. You did not fail your 18-year-old self.
That is such an important point. You are just being honest with your current self. You need to buy new shoes that fit the person you are today.
I love that. Okay, reason number 2 for feeling stagnant. We talked about this a little bit earlier. The highlight reels.
Yes, the highlight reels on our phones. This is a huge reason why people freeze and stop moving.
The sources explain this beautifully. When you look at other people, you are looking at their marketing campaign.
Right. They are selling an idea of their life. Look at me. I am happy. I am rich. I am successful.
But when you look at your own life, you see the raw, unedited footage.
You see the dirty dishes in your sink. You see the argument you had with your partner. You see the stress about paying the electricity bill.
And our brains are tricked by this. We suffer from a cognitive bias.
A cognitive bias is a mistake in how we think.
Exactly. Our brain assumes that what we see on the screen is the 100% truth.
So we think everyone else is perfect, and we are the only messy, broken person in the world.
And when you feel like the only broken person, what do? You feel inadequate. You feel like you are not enough.
And that feeling of not being enough kills your momentum. You think, why should I even try? I will never be as perfect as they are.
And so you stop trying. You become stagnant water again.
Comparison really is the enemy of progress.
Which brings us to the third reason we get stuck. This one is very practical, and it connects perfectly to the solutions we are going to talk about.
Yes. Reason number 3 is a lack of routine, or as the sources call it, reactive living.
Reactive living. To react means to wait for something to happen and then respond to it.
Right. It means you are not in control. You do not have a morning routine. You do not have a structure for your day.
A lot of people wake up, and while they are still lying in bed, they grab their phone.
That is the worst thing you can do.
It is. You open your email or you open the news, and immediately the world is telling you how to feel.
You see an angry email from your boss? Now you are stressed.
You see a sad news story about the world. Now you are sad.
You are letting the outside world control your internal mood. You are just a passenger in the car of your own life.
And if you are just a passenger, you are not driving. You cannot steer the car.
And feeling like you have no control leads directly to feeling helpless. And helplessness is just another word for being stagnant.
Okay, so we have drawn a very clear picture of the problem.
We definitely have. The social clock makes us feel late. Stagnant water makes us feel rotten and bad.
And misalignment and reactive living keep us trapped in that pond.
So we need to pivot. We need to talk about solutions. How do we turn the dirty pond back into a fresh flowing river?
The great news is the sources we read for this deep dive are extremely practical. They give us very simple tools.
They do not tell you to quit your job, sell all your things, and move to an island.
Which is funny because that is always my first thought when I'm stressed. I just want to run away to the forest.
The nuclear option.
Yeah.
But that almost never works. Because wherever you go, you take your own brain with you.
Exactly. If you have a stagnant mind in the city, you will have a stagnant mind in the forest.
So instead of running away, the research suggests something called micro-actions.
Micro actions. I really love this concept. Let us define it for the listener.
Micro means very, very small, microscopic, and an action is something you do.
So a micro action is a step that is so tiny it is almost impossible to fail.
Right. It is based on how our brain handles fear. Fear is what keeps us stuck.
So if you tell yourself, I am going to run a 20-mile marathon today, what happens?
Your brain panics.
Yeah.
Your amygdala, the fear center in your brain, starts flashing red lights.
It says, no, that is too hard. We might fail. It is dangerous.
And so your brain makes you freeze. You stay on the couch. You do nothing.
But what if you tell your brain, I am just going to put my running shoes on. That is all.
Your brain looks at that and says, oh, just putting shoes on. Fine. That is not scary. We can do that.
Exactly. A microaction flies under the radar of your fear. It sneaks past the panic.
The sources gave some great simple examples of this. Drink 1 glass of water, walk outside for 10 minutes, send 1 short email.
It sounds almost too easy. People might think, how is drinking 1 glass of water going to change my life?
But the goal is not the water. The goal is not the 10-minute walk.
What is the goal?
The goal is to prove to your own nervous system that you are moving.
Yes, you are creating a tiny ripple in the stagnant pond.
You are changing your identity. You stop being someone who is stuck on the couch. You become someone who takes action.
It is like basic physics. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion.
Right. The hardest part is going from 0 to 1, going from sitting to standing.
You have to overcome that initial friction, and you do that with the smallest possible effort. Once you are standing, it is much easier to start walking.
I think this is where so many people get confused. They sit and wait for motivation to arrive.
They think motivation is like magic, like a lightning bolt that will strike them from the sky.
Yes. They say, I will go to the gym when I feel motivated. I will practice my English when I feel motivated.
But that is completely backward. The research is very clear on this. Action produces motivation, not the other way around.
You have to act first. You take the micro-action, you drink the water, or you read one page of a book.
And then your brain gives you a tiny drop of dopamine. Dopamine is the reward chemical in your head.
And that dopamine gives you the motivation to do the next small thing.
So the microaction is the spark that starts the engine.
Exactly. Start small, move a little bit, become a river again.
This connects beautifully to the next big concept from the sources. They call it bounce back.
The bounce back concept. This is all about how we view our mistakes.
Yes, the ball versus the vase analogy. Let us explain this because it is very powerful.
Many people view their progress or their life like a beautiful glass vase.
A glass vase for flowers?
Wow.
It is very delicate. It is perfect.
Right. And if they make a mistake, maybe they miss a day of their routine or they eat junk food when they're on a diet, they feel like they dropped the glass vase.
Smash! It is broken into a million pieces.
And they think, well, it is ruined forever. Why should I try to fix it? I might as well just eat bad food for the rest of the month.
It is the all or nothing mindset. If it is not perfect, it is ruined.
But the source material says we need to completely change this mindset. We should not be glass vases. We need to be rubber balls.
Rubber balls, I like that.
Think about what happens when you drop a rubber ball. It hits the hard floor.
But it does not break. It compresses a little bit and then it bounces right back up into the air. So having a bad day or making a mistake is not a disaster. It is not a funeral for your goals.
It is just the downward motion of a bounce.
That is such a relieving thought. Success is not a perfectly straight line going up.
No, success is a squiggly line. It goes up and down. If you are in the flow of the river, you know that sometimes you hit a rock. You just go around it.
Being stagnant makes you fragile. One mistake feels terrible. Being in flow makes you flexible. You bounce back.
Okay. Let us move to a very specific, practical tip from our deep dive reading today. One of the sources was specifically about language learning habits.
Right, English practice routines. But when I read this section, I realized it was actually brilliant advice for general anxiety in life, too.
You are talking about the narrate your routine technique.
Yes, narrate your routine. To narrate means to tell a story or to speak out loud about what is happening.
So the advice for English learners is to wake up and speak your actions out loud.
You literally say, I am waking up, I am getting out of bed, I am walking to the bathroom, I am brushing my teeth.
I am pouring hot water for my coffee.
Now, obviously, this is fantastic for practicing English vocabulary and grammar. It forces you to think in the language.
But if we look deeper, what is actually happening in your brain when you do this?
It is a form of deep mindfulness. It is a grounding exercise.
Grounding means bringing your mind back to the present moment, back to reality.
Because think about it. If you are actively focusing on saying the sentence, I am pouring the hot water.
You cannot be worrying about your high school friend's new house on Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You cannot be stressing about the social clock. Your brain is fully occupied with the present moment.
It moves you from zombie mode back into the real world.
So many of us are zombies in the morning. We are physically in the kitchen making breakfast. But mentally,
we are worrying about a meeting we have in 3 hours. Or we are remembering an embarrassing mistake we made 5 years ago.
we are time traveling in our heads. And that causes anxiety.
But narrating your actions brings you back. It says, I am here. I am doing this specific thing right now.
It breaks the cycle of reactive living. You are taking control of your morning.
And you are creating a tiny win for yourself right away.
A win. Because you successfully spoke English.
And that little win releases the dopamine we talked about. You are starting your day with an accomplishment instead of starting your day feeling stressed.
It is such a simple, free tool. I highly recommend everyone listening tries this tomorrow morning. Just narrate 5 minutes of your routine.
Even if you make grammar mistakes, it does not matter. The action is what matters.
Okay, there was another great tip from the language learning source. It is called passive learning.
Or changing your environment. I love this one because it does not require any extra energy.
The specific advice was to change your phone's language settings to English.
Right. But the psychology behind this is called environmental design.
Environmental design. That means changing the world around you to make good habits easier.
Exactly. Because as humans, we rely way too much on willpower.
Willpower is your internal strength to do hard things. We think, I just need to try harder, I need to force myself to study.
But willpower is like a battery. It runs out very quickly. By the end of the day, your willpower battery is at 0%.
So if you wait until 8:00 p.m. to study English using just willpower, you will probably fail. You will just watch television instead.
But environmental design is different. You set up your world so that learning happens automatically, without deciding to do it.
So by changing your phone to English, you are forcing your brain to engage with the language maybe 50 or 100 times a day.
You see words like settings, update, delete, message, share.
You learn them naturally just by living your life.
You are creating positive friction. You are making the good habit the default state.
This applies to everything, not just English. If you want to stop feeling stagnant, change your inputs.
Unfollow the social media accounts that make you feel bad or jealous.
Yes. Protect your peace. Follow accounts that teach you things or make you laugh.
If you want to read more, put a book right on top of your pillow in the morning. So when you go to bed, you have to physically touch the book.
You are rigging the game so that you win. You are being a smart architect of your daily life.
I think that is so empowering. It is not about being a superhero. It is just about being smart with your environment.
Okay. We have covered so much amazing ground today. Let us do our mini word tour to make sure these concepts stick in our minds.
Yes, the mini word tour. This is where we review the most important vocabulary from today's deep dive.
Words are tools. If we understand the words, we can understand our own minds better.
Let us start with the biggest word of the day. Stagnant. S-T-A-G-N-A-N-T.
Stagnant. In simple English, this means not moving. It means sitting still for so long that things get bad.
Like water in a pond that smells bad because it does not flow.
Let us give an example sentence. My job felt stagnant, so I decided to learn a new skill.
Perfect. My job felt stagnant.
Okay, the next word is inevitable. I-N-E-V-I-T-A-B-L-E.
Inevitable. This is a very strong word. It means something that will absolutely definitely happen. You cannot stop it.
A good example sentence is, change is inevitable. Winter always becomes spring.
Change is inevitable. I like that. The third word is misaligned.
Misaligned. M-I-S-A-L-I-G-N-D. We talked about this with the shoe metaphor.
Yes, it means two things do not fit together smoothly. They are out of place.
Example sentence. My old dream was misaligned with my current life.
Very clear. And the last one is a very common English idiom, a phrase.
The phrase is, the ball is in your court.
The ball is in your court. This comes from sports, like tennis or basketball.
It means it is your turn to act. It is your responsibility to make the next move.
Example sentence. We gave you the advice, now the ball is in your court.
Which is exactly what we are doing today. We are giving you the tools, but you have to use them.
Now, normally at this point in the show, we do a pure English shadowing practice.
Right. But today, because this topic is so deep, we want to combine English shadowing with cognitive rehearsal.
Cognitive rehearsal. That means practicing a new way of thinking out loud.
I am going to say a negative, stagnant thought, the kind of bad thing we tell ourselves.
And then I will give you the positive flowing antidote, the new way to think.
And for the listener at home, we want you to pause and shadow the positive sentence. Copy the words. Say them out loud.
Let us try it.
Okay, here is the first negative, stagnant thought. It is too late for me. I have wasted too much time.
And here's the flow state antidote. Listen carefully and repeat after me. I am not late. I am on my own timeline. Today is the first day of the rest of my life.
That is powerful. Say it out loud wherever you are. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Okay, here is negative thought number 2. Look at my friends. They are so far ahead, I will never catch up.
Here is the antidote. Listen and repeat. Their chapter 10 has nothing to do with my chapter 1. I am measuring my progress against myself.
Against myself yesterday, not them today. Negative thought number 3. I missed a day of my routine. I failed. I should just quit.
Here is the positive antidote. I am a rubber ball, not a glass vase. One misstep does not ruin the journey. I can resume right now.
I bounce back. I resume right now. Excellent. And the final negative thought, I do not know what to do. The big goal is too scary.
And the antidote is, I do not need to know the whole path. I just need to take one micro action.
Motion creates clarity. Motion creates clarity. That might be the most important sentence of this whole deep dive.
You cannot just sit on the couch and think your way out of a problem.
You have to act your way out. You have to move your body to change your mind.
Even if that action is just drinking a glass of water or putting on your shoes or saying one sentence in English.
It is so empowering to realize that the feeling of being late is just a feeling. It is not a mathematical fact.
It is just a signal from your brain.
A signal. What is the signal trying to tell us?
The signal is telling you that you are ready for the next chapter. The discomfort you feel is just growing pains.
It means the old shoes do not fit your feet anymore.
Exactly. It is time to buy a new pair of shoes. It is time to update your goals.
And it is time to start walking forward again.
Listen, if you have stayed with us until the very end of this long, deep dive, you have already taken a huge micro-action.
You really have. You invested almost an hour into your own mental growth and your English skills. That is incredible.
That is flow. You are not a stagnant pond anymore. You are already back in the river.
So keep flowing. Do not look at the social clock on the wall. Just look at the one small step right in front of you.
And remember, spring always comes after winter. Movement is inevitable if you allow it.
We would absolutely love to hear from you. What is your micro-action going to be today?
Not your big 10-year plan. What is the tiny 5-minute thing you are going to do as soon as this audio stops?
Leave us a comment below. Say, I am from this country, and my micro-action is whatever it is.
Write it down. Make it real. The ball is in your court now.
Thank you so much for diving deep with us today. Remember, it is never too late to start over.
It really is not. Keep practicing and keep moving.
We will see you all in the next deep dive. Take care, everyone.